As you all know, TD Reborn was released a few weeks ago, and there was many bugs with it. But the development team has been actively working on the game. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining every new change and update inside version 1.31 alpha. But before we begin, I want to say make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into the changes. This update is a little small, but it makes the game so much more playable now. For example, let's begin with the minion improvements. As stated by the devs, minions have a lot of changes. Minions no longer give a speed boost to survivors when they're hit, and no longer trigger the chase beam. What this means is before, when you were hit by one of the minions, you would gain a speed boost and you're able to outrun them for a little bit. This was good if you were getting a cream heal or you're getting shielded by Sally, so it allowed you to give you more speed for less damage than a regular EXE. But now, this means that if you get hit, they're still on top of you, so you have to be very careful now about minions, because they can just swarm you really easily. And the other thing is there's no more chase theme. So what this means is at the end of the game, if you had like 5 minions on you because everyone came back, you can have like 200 danger time because they all stacked. Now danger time only comes from the original EXE. And you won't know they're around unless if you see them, since there's no music. And finally, my favorite change for minions is they finally fixed the models. Before, models like Amy were super creepy because instead of having her face like stitched up, she just had one eye and it was just bland. Honestly, if they're making a Halloween update, I feel like very weird designs like that would work perfectly, but they're finally fixed now. But now, that's it for the minions, and on to the survivor improvements. As you see on the screen, you can pause to read, survivors have had many changes, and a lot of them help out drastically. First one is Silver. Before, Silver's orb was kind of janky. You could just hit the EXE with it, and they just stare at you because it didn't hit them. Or it did hit them, and it just doesn't do anything. But now they finally fixed it, so when you hit the EXE, it will stun them, making Silver playable. And now his barrier also works properly. I don't know what that means since I never really had issues with the barrier when using Silver, but that is a good change if you had issues with it. And finally, the long-awaited part. They finally fixed hitboxes and iframes for the characters. Thank heavens. This means before, say if you're getting rushed by a Colossus or you're using Hammer Spin as Amy, basically you could use that attack and still get hit even though you stunned the EXE. So if you weren't careful with a character like Knuckles, you could take upwards of 75 damage for no reason. This also means that you can't get punched or spin dash while using your attacks, which helps out a lot, since before, you could just take unnecessary damage, like Metal Sonic trying to grab an EXE. And we finally improved iframes, which is good. If you don't know what iframes mean, that means invincibility frames. Before, say if you're revived, sometimes you just didn't get speed boost, and as soon as you got up, you just got one shot, because there was no iframes. It's practically the killer just saying, once you're down, stay down. But now with that means that you can actually live upwards a few seconds after being down, and this means that Rouge's slide and Amy's dash actually work properly now, and you can't get hit during the animation. There's probably more bug fixes like this that are small enough that they didn't add in the official report, but do look out for that, so it is now harder for the killer. But now, we're on to the big part. EXE changes. As I stated, there's a whole list of well-needed fixes. You can read this part on the screen if you want, but thank Lord they didn't wait any longer, because the game was so unfair. First off, Sonic.EXE finally has end lag. Basically what end lag is once you turn out of your invisibility, you can't attack for a second. Now, you might be wondering, why was this useful? Well, before, as soon as you got out of invisibility, you could just attack. That meant that nobody had any time to prepare for you. You just immediately got a hit, and it was very annoying. Now, it's more like 1 second before they can attack, so it gives you some time to either dodge or stun the EXE. And the other thing that was really needed is the Colossus charge. Before, it could hit multiple times doing 75 to 150 damage if you were just laggy. This also happened if you grappled him with Metal Sonic because it just kept hitting you over and over again. But now, it can only deal damage once. So basically what they did in the code was made so if it hits you, it can't hit you again. So now you won't get absolutely obliterated if your game decides, you know what, take a few extra damage because I feel like it. This also means that these characters are a lot more usable now and not completely broken. I still think Tails Doll is pretty strong with his slash and his abilities, but these are well needed nerfs for these characters. And now, we're on to general improvements. These are things that happen to the UI, just general game features, and private server features. Before in base, back in the original TD, there was camera systems around. With that, it was basically FNAF, where you're able to shut off certain areas and help teammates by stunning the EXE for a few seconds if they try to get past. When the game was originally released, TD Reborn, they didn't have have that feature, but now they added it. So if you want to play 5 nights at EXE's, well then, now you can. And they've also reduced the time duration per match. Before, with a group of 7, you had to survive for like 8 to 9 minutes, which was insane. Even if no one respawned at EXE, over time you'll eventually start falling, so there was almost no way you could win. But now we restored it to the original times of the game, making it a lot more playable. And one of the biggest changes, in my opinion, is private servers are finally in full effect. This means that before, there was only double trouble when TD Reborn came out. And it was kind of wonky where only one EXE could attack and the other one could only use abilities. But now we fully fixed that and finally added team versus team. If you don't know what team versus team is, imagine there's one EXE, there's 2 survivors on team red, 2 survivors on team blue. Whoever's last one standing wins. They've also had the ability to fully kick people, since you know sometimes you have a troll in your game when you're inside your private server and you just want them out. You can just kick them now. With all of these changes, Sonic.EXE with Disaster Reborn is so much better now. I recommend all of you play it as soon as you watch this video. There's a lot more changes they said that they didn't add in the post, but you can assume they're a lot more minor and help out the game a lot. By the way, I'm going to take this time to thank you all for over 400 subscribers within the last, not even a week. This is just not part of the video, this is a PS, but I want to thank you all so much. I'm finally monetized now, which is absolutely insane. I never thought it was to happen, and it's support from you. If we continue this up, we're going to have a lot more videos coming out on TD Reborn, and I've kind of swapped my content. Before, if you looked at my channel, I did PvZ content, but now I'm looking towards more survival and horror games. So if there's anything you want to see, put it in the comments below. But anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you all liked and enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Later.